Hey there everybody, my name is Gold, and welcome to the Randomized Pokemon Sun 3-player competitive Nuzlocke. Or well, that's kind of a mouthful, so we can just call it the Sun Cage Lock. If you already know what a Cage Lock is, then you can skip to this time code. Otherwise, here's a quick rundown. All the basic Nuzlocke rules, which you can see on your screen, and a couple new ones. After each Totem Sluts Kahuna fight, we'll do a cage match, which is a round-robin style fight where the winner gets to pick to allow their Pokemon to either have the ability to hold items, use TMs, or revive. Then, after the Elite Four, we'll have a final battle where the player with the two lowest amount of points will fight, and then the winner will face the one with the most points. One who wins that wins the whole thing. Okay, if you're still here, then let's begin. Oh god! The first thing that happened was Professor Kukui staring at me for like an uncomfortably long amount of time. Like a seriously uncomfortable long amount of time. But anyway, that didn't matter. It's time for the starters. Anyway, Matt got a Slowbro, Pillsbury got a Tapu Koko, and I got a Zygarde, which is really nice to have, and I immediately killed it, which I was a little upset about. I hope you lose your will to live. I bet you take pictures of yourself and send it to Instagram and then they get taken down because they're so ugly and stupid. And not one of my brightest moments, but we move on. After this, I do the most important thing I'll do the entirety of the Cage Lock. I get insanely dripped out. And now we move on to the first trial. I got Igglybuff, which is very easy to beat. Matt got a Scraggy, and Pillsbury, about 20 minutes later, which is rather usual for him, got a Chimecho. That was easy for him to beat also. Which means now it's time for the first cage match. First is me and Pillsbury. I send out my Roserade, and he sends out his Tapu Koko. And through a battle of attrition of Mega Drain and Leech Seed, I end up winning. I didn't really think it would happen, but I'm not complaining. Next is Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sends out Tyrun, and Pillsbury sends out Basculin. And through a surprisingly stressful fight, Pillsbury ends up winning against Matt's Tyrun. Finally, it's me versus Matt, and I send out Scrafty, and Matt sends out Pyroar, which was a very easy win, minus a few headbutt flinches. This means I take an early lead. Alright, let's get back to the game. Honestly, pretty much nothing happens between the cage match and the Kahuna, well, I caught a DNC, so that's cool. Other than that, it's straight on to Kahuna. I had an Ice type one, which was pretty easy. Matt got a Fairy type Kahuna, which he had a little trouble with, and the Chancellor got a Flying type, which he didn't have too much trouble with. And it's time for another cage match. First is me against Matt. I send out Spheal, and Matt sends out Roselia, which one-shots me with Magical Leaf. Godspeed, Spheal. I shall miss you all of my days and not forget about you in 20 minutes. Then it's Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sends out Vaporeon, and Pillsbury sends out Sudowoodo, which, as you can guess, is a very easy win for Matt. Finally, it's me and Pillsbury. And I send out Dragonite, and Pillsbury sends out Shellos. And although he had super effective hidden power, lost to the sheer awesome might of Flinch and Thunder Wave Lock. Now that we got that finished, we can continue with the story. After that, we can get to the most important part of this, what you're really here for. Talk to me drip out my character again. Sorry, I won't do that again. Maybe. Anyway, in Panolia Ranch, we get an egg. Comment down below and guess what the egg is. It's real, yeah, you get it. Oh wow, it's a Keldeo. Yippee! If you guessed it, you get the honor of being able to subscribe to this channel. Helps out a lot, and there was like 56 gigabytes of footage I had to look through, so I'd really enjoy a little click on that button. Thanks. Anyway, it was getting time for the next trial. Matt fights a Foldsel, I fight a Herdier, and Pillsbury fights a Cleffa, which I'm not kidding, took a full uninterrupted 20 extra minutes after me and Matt fought the trial. Okay, cage match time. First is Pillsbury versus Matt. Matt sends out Roselia and Pillsbury sends out Mortal. And Matt ends up forcefully touching that mushroom. Zoinks. Also, real quick, there's a rule I haven't said yet. A Pokemon can only come into 2 cage matches, so Roselia is done until the final fight. Anyway, next is me and Pillsbury. I send out Luxio, and he sends out Vaporeon, which I win. Yippee! Then it's finally me and Matt. I send out Keldeo, and Matt sends out Banette, which I win. Let's go, and dare I say, perchance. Next up, we meet the Mass Royale, which is really cool and awesome, and I love him with every fiber of my being. Then, kicking up the next part of the cage lock, Matt finds an Archeops, which is bad for me, but it's an Archeops with parental bond, which is even worse. But we can't worry about that now because it's time for the next trial. I fought a Sigalith pretty easily, Matt fought a Parasect, and ended up losing several Pokemon to a Parasect. Ew, ignore that Ho-Oh, it didn't do anything. Shh. And Pillsbury fought an Absol. Overall, a really easy trial except for Matt, who's really stinky and bad at fighting a really easy Pokemon. And it's time for the next cage match. First is Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sends out Vaporeon and Pillsbury sends out Basculin. And through a tense battle, Pillsbury has Matt on the ropes. But through a lucky living on 1 HP, Matt ends up winning, meaning that Basculin dies. Fly high, Basculin. You were a real one. Anyway, it's time for me versus Matt. I send out Diancie and Matt sends out Donphan. And through a very painful battle, I lose. And I'm not gonna lie, this one hurt a lot. Oh, by the way, I'm big dumb and forgot to record the fight between me and Pillsbury where I beat his Glalie, and I don't really remember who with, but I tried, I'm sorry. I'm a professional, I swear. After this, I had a poor choice of words, which in context are bad, and out of context are really bad.
I don't care if she's 10, she's bad. Put that on my gravestone.
But as long as I don't pull a Dr. Disrespect, we should be fine. Too soon? Yeah, too soon. Note to self, do not put that in the video. Just moving past that little moment, Pillsbury accidentally runs into a golfer at a Yveltal, and instead of skipping past, this here is a sped up version of the entire painful fight. Then I did the grass trial, which in fact was a grass trial. Wow. I fought Snivy, which wasn't that bad. Matt fought a Clawitzer, which despite almost losing a couple times, pulled through as well. And Pillsbury fought a Toucannon, which thanks to Fedridge, he did it. Alright, next cage match time. First is me versus Matt, and he had a Donphan, and I had Dragonite. And although he had Rollout, I won. Then it was Matt and Pillsbury. Matt sends out Monferno, and Pillsbury sends out Hitmonlee. Pillsbury ends up winning because Matt Monferno has Moody. Finally, me versus Pillsbury. I sent out Luxio, he sent out Absol. He ends up beating me with Absol. A Pillsbury sweep's not what I expected to happen, but hey, it does happen. Then we made it to the town where you can buy fossils, and so I bought a couple and got a Tapu Lele. I am the greatest. Then it was time for the fight against Olivia, and Pillsbury got ground type, which was rather easy. Matt got normal type, and had to fight a Slacking, and I got fighting type. All in all, not too hard. Time for the next cage match. This is Matt versus Pillsbury, and Matt sends out Tyranitar and Pillsbury sends out Cheston, and as expected, Pillsbury easily wins. Or, well, never mind I guess. Oops. Anyway, next is me versus Pillsbury. I send out Rotom, and Pillsbury sends out Hitmonlee, which through a rather intense battle, I won. Finally, was me versus Matt, and I sent out Roselia, and Matt sent out Kingdra, which I won, because I'm super duper sexy and awesome, and you should like the video right now because of that. Then we made it to the Aether Paradise, and I saw some weird little yellow man on the ground, which was weird, and I saw the hottest Pokemilf of all time. Sorry, I don't know what came over me, I apologize. Anyway, the Sky Uzzy opens up and a jellyfish comes out, so after beating that, we kinda just move on. I did one of the most pivotal decisions of my career, tripping out my character some more. Sorry, I promised I wouldn't do that again, but it was just so tempting. Then we met the greatest character of all time, Rich Mulch.
I'm manifesting. You are mine! You'll find the Tapu Fini in this grass, and you'll catch it in the first ball with a crit capture.
I hope so.
Oh, he's got a shaman.
Either
I
that'll
should've
happen or
switched.
my name isn't Rich Mulch. Then it was trial time, which I got a Duat, which ended up being the hardest trials I've ever had and left me with only 2 Pokemon to send into cage match. The other 2 didn't have too much trouble with theirs. First is me versus Pillsbury, and I sent out Servine and he sent out Magcargo, which I very obviously got railed. Then it was me versus Matt, and I sent out Weavile and he sent out Lantern, and I unfortunately lost. Sorry Weavile, you deserve better. Finally it was Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sends out Krokorok and Pillsbury sends out Sunflora. And one shot to Krokorok. Alright, on with the show. During this part, not a whole lot happened, but I found a Mega Charizard X and a Kyogre. Then it was time for the next trial. I fought a Furfrou, which could have been worse. Matt fought a Gardevoir, and Pillsbury fought a Trevenant. Altogether, pretty uneventful, and it's time for the cage match. First is me versus Matt. I sent out Scrafty, and Matt sent out Manectric. I won rather simply. Then it was Matt versus Pillsbury, and Matt sent out Archeops, and Pillsbury sent out Sunflora, but one Acrobatics was enough to spell the end of Sunflora. Then it was me versus Pillsbury, and I sent out Charizard, and he sent out Houndoom, which I won due to Cursed Body. Godspeed, Houndoom. You served him well. At this part, I ran into possibly the best encounter I'll get the entire time we played this game. Found a Primal Groudon. Then we went through Pro Town and I did the stupid puzzle where you have to say Guzma's favorite things. Like, why? Who made this? Who hurt you? Anyway, then it's time for Nanu's fight. I got rock type, and even though he fought valiantly, Terry ended up dying. Godspeed, Terry, I'll miss you. Please come back to me. Terry. Matt had an easy fire type fight, and Pillsbury had a bug type fight. It took about 30 minutes for him to get there, so me and Matt started playing Clash Royale. Okay, so the first cage match was me and Matt. I sent out Kyogre and Matt sent out Primarina, which I won through body slams and paralyzing him. Then it was Matt and Pillsbury. Matt sends out Yveltal, and Pillsbury sends out Clefable, which Matt also won. Shout out to TipLodu56 for joining in on the fight. Big fan right here. Then it was me and Pillsbury, and I sent out Lopunny, and he sent out Bastiodon, and he got clapped. Then Matt got challenged by good old TipLodu56, and he lost real bad. Okay, so I have news at this point. I'd gotten a new computer. Bad news is I'd lost my save, so I just replayed until I got to that point, and then recreated about as much as my boxes I could remember. Okay, now that settled, we can move on. We had made it back to Aether Paradise, where through a bunch of fights I got to see Lusamine again, where she joined the jellyfish in its sex dungeon, but that's only important for later. Then a little bit later I caught a slacking, the sniper, and I'm certain there's no way that I could immediately lose her or anything. Then it was time for the fight against Hapu, which for me was Fairy type, and it was rather simple. Matt got Flying type, which was not that hard either, and Pillsbury got Rock type, which was also not that hard. I know it's getting old at this point, but there's like an hour of footage where it's just Pillsbury trying to catch up to us. After that incredibly long intermission, it was time for me against Matt, where I sent out Metagross and Matt sends out me and Shell, which wasn't that hard for me. Then it was me versus Pillsbury. I sent out Slacking, he sends out Ferrothorn, and I lost because I didn't choose counter. Sorry, Terry II, you were a real one for about 20 minutes. Then it was Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sends out Vanillix, and Pillsbury sends out Braviary, which Pillsbury lost due to Ice Beam freezing. We're getting close to the end, so go ahead and comment who you think will win, and if you get it right, I'll give you a big ol' kiss. After a long trek through the mountains, I won Shianta Totem Zangoose, and Matt fought a Mega Bombasnow, who had a berry that reduced flying type damage, which wasn't that difficult, it was just kind of funny. And Pillsbury fought a Leafeon. Now it's time for the cage match. This is our final chance to get perks. First is me versus Pillsbury. I sent out Metagross, and Pillsbury sent out Serena, which I won. Also, I totally thought Serena was fighting type. I mean, I don't know, it just learns a lot of fighting type moves, so I just assumed that. I guess that's probably just me, actually. Sorry. Then it was me versus Matt, and I sent out Lopunny and Matt sent out Pinsir, which is actually an interesting fight. And because of a crick, I won. So get wrecked. I'm so cool, I'm basically a Kari. Finally, it's Matt versus Pillsbury. Matt sent out Steelix and Pillsbury sent out Mamoswine. And Pillsbury should have won, but he didn't use a ground type move because he didn't know the Steelix was weak to ground, but he knows that now. Okay, time for the final part. After almost entering Ultra Space with a team of Kyogre, Tyranitar, and a level 15 Parasect, we fight Ultra Lusamine. God, she's so bad. I would just let her peg me. I mean, I had a pretty easy time, but Matt lost half of his team, including Steelix, Vanillix, and Hariyama. Then Matt lost more of his team. It was real rough, and Pillsbury lost Absol to Destiny Bond. Rip bastard. Then it was time for the Elite Four, our final challenge. After some hard-fought battles and a loss of Lopunny and Slowbro, I'd done it. I was the lowest champion, thanks to my whole team who had got me here, especially Dragonite, who got me through the hardest fights. Matt also beat the Elite Four, but he basically lost his whole team, and Pillsbury lost first time. Then his ragtag crew that he put together beat the Elite Four. I just want to say, I'm really proud of him. He may not have won the way he wanted to, but for his first time playing Pokemon Sun, he did really good. Love you, Pillsbury. Okay, it's time for the final fight. Go ahead and make your final guesses on who's going to win. I've thought about how to do this, and I think that the best way is to just let the final fight play as is without me commentating over it, but, you know, I'll have some things to say afterwards, so don't worry, I'm not gone forever. I lost.
may not have won, but don't underestimate me, Matt. I'm hot on your tail, and next time, I'll give you a run for your money. You better believe it. This video was a long time in the making. It's actually been a little over a year since I last uploaded my last video, so that's kind of interesting. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who decided to watch this video. The YouTube algorithm probably hates me right now. I just kind of been busy, you know, I've been doing a lot of different things, but I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for being here. I also wanted to thank Matt Pillsbury for sticking it out with me through this whole entire thing, because I could be annoying every once in a while, so, you know, it's kind of cool to have people that want to hang out with you for a bit. Anyway, if you like this video, you can go ahead and like and subscribe, please. And if you hate it, you can also like and subscribe, because that way you'll never see me again. I've been told that by the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, as always, my name's Gold, and I'll see you later.